this is a double boiler, which is a really brilliant way of making ointment. So we've got water underneath and a saucepan that sits on the top. So we're going to use some oil. You could use sunflower oil or almond oil. These are two of the best oils. So this is an olive oil. So that's our oil, and then we add the comfrey to that. And then with the sustained heat from the double boiler, the properties of the comfrey will start to infuse into the oil. This is known as an oil infusion, or infused oil.
And how much oil do you put in there?
It's not really very critical. It depends how much ointment you want to make. So, and basically you just put in as much of the roots as you can into the oil. You don't have to worry about dosage with external preparations. You just put in as much as you can fit into the oil.
Okay.
And then that would be left for 2 to 3 hours usually, is enough time to extract. The thing to remember with a double boiler is you have to keep topping up, checking the water and topping it up so it doesn't burn dry. So I put a lid on that and just leave that, keeping an eye on it every now and then. Okay, so the comfrey has been infusing in the oil now for about 3 hours, so it's time to strain it. So I think all the properties of the root have gone into that oil very nicely. So we're ready to strain it. You could do this through a cloth, or you could do it as I'm doing through a very fine sieve, but it needs to be very fine, just to get out any little odds and ends or bits of dirt or small bits of root. Just pop that all in there. Then we're going to leave that to strain for a few minutes. So this is the comfrey oil that we've made, and we could use that either to make a liniment or a rubbing oil, which could be used to massage into the joints. It's very good for arthritis, for example, or any muscular sprains. So this could be a base for a massage oil. You could add to it different aromatherapy oils. Another thing we can do with the oil is to make ointments or creams, and I'm going to show you making an ointment right now. So the proportions of this are, to make about 7 jars you would need 200 ml of oil to ½ an ounce of beeswax, which I think is about 15 grams metric. So this is the beeswax that I'm using. This is little peas of beeswax. Now you can also buy beeswax in little 1 ounce blocks as well and chop it up, but the peas are very convenient. So to move on to the ointment making, we put our oil into the double boiler. It's an extremely simple method of making an ointment. Very, very simple. So the oil and the beeswax. So they're put together, and then we return that to the stove, and then the beeswax will melt. So we're just stirring that a little bit to get the beeswax to melt. The great thing about this method is that if it goes wrong, you can always change things. So if your ointment becomes out too solid, you could put more oil, you could return it to the pan and put more oil in, or if it hasn't set hard enough, you could return it to the pan and put more beeswax in. So it's very simple, you can't go wrong.
How long does it take from start to finish then?
To make a comfrey or fresh comfrey oil and an ointment, how long would it take me? I could do it in the morning.
Right, okay.
Yeah, 4 hours probably be fine. Yeah, from start to finish.
Fantastic.
So that's beeswax has now melted into the oil. So the next phase is pouring it into the jars. I find the easiest way is to put it into a Pyrex jug. And then that just goes straight into the little ointment jars. So that will set. It's quite.
You can already see it setting on here, can you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's setting already. So that will set within an hour. If you're in a hurry, you could put it in the fridge and set it quicker. So that's the whole process from start to finish. Okay. So this is the ointment that's set, and we've got a label on it now, Comfrey Ointment. So this can be used externally on the skin for any cuts, bruises, also very good for arthritic joints, any muscular sprains or tendon sprains. Comfrey contains a substance called allantoin, which speeds up the healing process. It speeds up cell division, so it just makes the whole process of healing much quicker.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sue.
You're welcome.